I want you to think about this. If you were to ask a bunch of leaders and managers publicly, and this is the important thing, publicly, are they good at their job? What do you think they'll say? Because I promise you, you're going to get a very, very different result if they could answer very confidently behind closed door, knowing whatever they said doesn't go any further. So if you are, you came to this video because you're a bit stressed over your role as a leader or manager, or you think, actually, I wish I was better, I'm not very good at it, then you're in the right place. Because I promise you, if you were to ask those questions to a bunch of people publicly and you interviewed them and say, hey, are you a good manager? Very few people will publicly, unless it's in a jokey way, turn around and say, no, I don't think I am. But in this short video, I want to take you through actually why most people are not as good as they could be. And it's a very simple fix if you understand this. So I'm going to go first. When I was very young 20-year-old, I was put on a really good leadership and management course, one of the best reputations in the UK at the time. There was a couple of companies, and I definitely was in one of those companies that had a great reputation for developing leaders and managers. And I promise you, as I was going through this and then afterwards, that I was not very good. Even though this is a great training, I look back at it now and I think, actually, they missed out something colossally important. They missed out the most important subject. And this is what usually happens, and one of the biggest problems. And the other thing was, I was a better leader than I was a manager, because my natural thinking, how my brain works, is inclined to being more of a leader than a manager. So there's the first question. Do you think more as a leader or as a manager? Or perhaps you're one of the more rarer people who naturally have the ability to do both. And it's not a criticism. It's not something you say, oh yes, I'm definitely at both. It's actually really good to identify which one is your preference. And I'm more of a natural leader thinker than I am a natural manager thinker. And this is where the second part comes in. Most people are not trained to understand, one, the difference, and two, how to do both. Because most people need to lead and manage. That's why they often put together, but they are different things. And I remember working on a leadership management course for a big company, global company, a few years ago. And one of the leaders of that company said, put your hand up, and he said, before today, I didn't even think of the word leadership. It wasn't even something that registered in their head, even though their decisions about the innovation of the projects and the products that they were creating influenced so many people in the company and the direction of the company and what they offered. They were a leader, a thought leader of product and then project development. But they didn't even recognize that as a word. And they had millions of dollars worth of revenue that they were influencing by their decisions. But they never even thought of the word leadership. So a lot of people don't know the difference, and that's okay. And it's okay to say, what is the difference? Because that really highlights this important thing. That's the second part, is just knowing the difference of people who think differently, but also the skills and the knowledge and the techniques and approaches of both. So there's a lot of people in the wrong jobs or struggling because they don't have the knowledge to back up, one, what they're really good at, and two, their weaknesses. So I always say to my clients, now we know that you're better at this, we can help you develop that. We can make you even better at what you're naturally good at, but now we can develop these weaknesses. But as I said, if you're going to ask a bunch of people publicly, most leaders and managers can't afford to look like they don't know what they're talking about or don't know what they're good at. So that's one of the hardest things. But if you can get over that and say, hey, Stephen, I need some help because I think I'm a great leader, but I suck as a manager, or the other way around, or you think, you know what, I'm not even sure if I'm either of these things. I'm not even sure. But I'm in a leadership position. Here's another thing that's really important. A lot of people get promoted into managerial positions where they're expected to lead a team, and they don't think like leaders and managers at all. And it's often because they are the best performing person, or they have the longest time within that company, or they simply have the technical knowledge needed to run the team, because that project is very, very technical and you need someone with that technical skills and technical knowledge. So they often get promoted and they flounder, they're unhappy, and their team doesn't work well because they don't even want to be or think about being a leader or manager. And then on this, it's interesting, on the same training that I was talking about, where this person identified themselves as not even knowing what a leader was, we had somebody else who had actually quit their job. But they put them on this training to try and retain them because they needed them to be managing this function. And within the first day, we identified that they should not be here. They don't want to be. They don't want to be doing this. They absolutely don't want to be doing this. But they've given the extra money. They've given the job title. But what they wanted to do was to be the technical expert. So at the lunch break, dragged them into the director and said, this is wrong for them. My advice is leave them as they are. Be the technical expert to help teams, and let's promote somebody else and get somebody else in as the manager. And this person was so relieved, and guess what? They took back their resignation notice because they just wanted to be a really good worker, to be the technical expert. And they're still in that company to this day, many years later. So knowing the difference between leader, manager, worker is crucial for you, for the people you want to promote, the people who are leading or running your companies, or reading or supporting you in your directorship, whatever it happens to be. Knowing the difference is fantastic. It's so valuable. And knowing that you don't have to be expert in all of them is crucial, because then you can set your team up to get the best out of you or get the best out of them while somebody else is doing the thing that they are not so good at. Then the next thing is, it's about people. It's about the skill of understanding people, because whether you're a systems manager or a people manager, or you need to be both, most people need to be both. Most people are, if they're even managerial in their thinking, they naturally think like managers do. To be a skilled systems manager and a skilled people manager, that takes often training and practice. So do they have the skills? And the most important skill, most important knowledge is understanding people. And this is what my training way back when I was in my early 20s failed me on, because most of the time we don't get trained in it. How to understand people on a very practical level, so you can understand why they are behaving the way they're behaving, and you need to change their behavior to do something else. Negotiate with them, motivate with them, make them enjoy their job, help them enjoy their job, so they take on accountability willingly. They stay in the team longer. There's a huge problem with retention at the moment. And most of the time it's because of poor management. Most people leave a very viable job, a good job, because of poor management. So this is such an easy fix. If you put your hand up and say, I know some of my people are struggling. Am I a leader? Am I a manager? Am I either? Am I both? And what skills have I got? What skills could I learn? And I always say this about leadership and management. A little bit of knowledge goes a long way, because when I'm working with people and I'm teaching and taking them through a concept, and they say, this is easy, isn't it? This is obvious. Now I see it. Now I understand it. It's everywhere. So I would now do this with that person. I'll do that differently. And all of a sudden, boom, they're using it on a very practical level. And guess what? Their teams are happier, they're more productive, they work better as a team, and results improve. So leadership and management development is one of the most powerful ways of leveraging investment, because one person can make a whole company or a whole team work much better or much worse. But the first thing you have to do is you have to actually say that the situation we're currently in is that most people are not trained in these skills, and most people at any sort of level of leadership and management, and I didn't want to admit this at the age of 20, there's like, actually, no, I'm not very good at this. Even though I've been on this training was okay to a certain extent, but it missed out this massive thing about how to understand and work with people and be an influencer in a very positive way. So hopefully it's been useful to you. But my advice is look at yourself and then look at your people and just think, are they struggling? Am I struggling when I don't need to? Why am I struggling? Not sure I understand why I'm struggling and where I'm struggling. Well, then please get in touch, because this is what we're good at. We're really good at helping people understand where they're at, what they should be doing, what they're best at, and actually get the most productive development to solve these problems. So thank you for your time. I hope this has been useful, got you thinking, and please just get in touch, because it is my passion, you can tell. Helping people understand people so they can be better leaders, better managers, enjoy what they're doing, get better rewards, make their people enjoy what they're doing, which makes projects get to completion easier because you're not losing key people at the most terrible times. All these problems in business can be massively improved by just better understanding of people and better understanding of leadership and management, better skills at it. So I'm going to stop now, because I could go on for ages on this. My apologies. But please get in touch if you think, yeah, do you know what? This is worth investigating. Get in touch. Inquiries at certainchange.co.uk, or click whatever buttons around and we can organise a call. And I'd love to help you. It's what we're really good at. Thanks for your time.